Alrighty, I've been driving for about 4 hours now. I have no idea where I'm gonna pull over tonight to sleep, but I do have a bed in the back. It's a little hillbilly-ish. I have no idea how much money's on this card, but let's find out. Doesn't look too bad, looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy this and get back on the road. I've decided to take a little nap, and I want to show you guys my bed setup. It's honestly not too bad, given what I have. It's a Toyota Tacoma, so the back seat is very, very small. But I got a twin mattress back here. All I gotta do is crawl back, pop my feet up, and I don't know, it works, you know. It's not, I wouldn't say I'd want to drive to Alaska like this, even though I've done it in the past. But I don't know, it's kind of comfortable. Well, I got so distracted and was listening to some podcasts, and I realized I am absolutely below empty. I have 9 miles to go. Well, luckily I made it. 20 gallons of gas. Now I know how much my truck holds. First major road mark, we got the Mackinac Bridge.
Walking down this road with hope for the future in my heart. A journey that goes on forever, step by step, looking forward on this road. Looking back, I see the scenery. Memories of the past overflow.
Well, I just stopped by Walmart, got a couple things for the trip, got a little salad for dinner tonight, and I'm gonna go back and sleep in a hotel parking lot, wake up tomorrow morning, make a 2-hour drive, and make my way to where I'm canoeing. I am in for the night. I'm in the back seat of my truck, as you guys can see. I've got these little foam sheets over my windows that blocks out all the light and makes it feel a lot more private in here. And I think it's a little bit safer because people walking by don't really see a human being in here, which makes it a little awkward sometimes. See you guys tomorrow morning. Good morning. I woke up because it was raining. Every strap I have is dripping water like crazy, unfortunately. All right, I'm about to go through customs, and I must admit I'm a little bit nervous right now because there's a lot of rain in the forecast and there's a lot of thunderstorms in the forecast, and I'm gonna be honest, I am not stepping foot on my canoe when it's storming out just because I don't want to risk it. So just saw the first bear cross the street. Well, I made another rookie mistake, and that was that I did not fill up in town, and now I'm regretting it because I'm definitely not close to running out of gas, but I am learning that within the next 2 hours, there's not a single gas station. So that'd be a 4-hour drive going up and back. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back into town. It's about a 20-minute drive backwards, fill up, buy a can of gas, and restart this journey because I don't want to be one of those tourists who ends up running out of gas. And just topped off in gas. I spent $100 on gas. I did it a couple times, but got a little jerry can, so I'm not going to screw up in the future. Throw that in the back, and then hopefully we will not run out of gas, and this will be the last gas stop before I get in the canoe. So I've been driving about an hour and a half on this road. As you can tell, it's a very remote road, and this is absolutely insane. This is Ranger Lake. Not where I'll be canoeing, but my gosh, it is absolutely beautiful out there. It's just pure wilderness everywhere around. There's nothing. So I am beyond excited to get out there and be paddling and fishing. And the goal for today is not to be fishing too much. It's more so just to find camp and a good spot to camp. And hopefully I'm gonna be able to make it to my destination tonight and then wake up tomorrow and get started with all the survival stuff I want to do. And I've arrived. It is raining, but it's not raining too hard to where it's going to be a pain in the butt, so. First bald, well, actually the second bald eagle of the trip, but first I've seen while being out on the water. Alrighty, so forgive me for the taping. I am a novice at this, as you guys can probably tell, but I got my canoe in the water and I'm now heading that direction, which is exactly where the wind is blowing from. So I'm gonna be battling a headwind, but that's okay. So this is already starting to be spectacular, and the weather's kind of holding off. It's not raining too hard right now at all. I mean, look at this. Not a single soul on this lake. Now this is wilderness and I love it. The weather's just a little brutal right now, but it is what it is. I've been paddling like this for probably about an hour and a half or so, and it's a headwind, so the rain is blowing just straight on my face. All right, we have an absolutely brutal rain out here, and so I'm not gonna risk going across the lake, and instead I'm just gonna follow this shoreline around, even though I have to get to that point out there. So I'll just follow this shoreline around and hope for the best, but the wind could pick up any moment and create a dangerous situation for me that I want to obviously avoid. So it's about 5:30. I got to decide whether I'm going to make it to the next lake and portage over there tonight or set up camp here and then go over there. I think I'm going to shoot for trying to make it, but the last thing I want to do is get caught in the evening and not have camp set up, because like I said, I am soaked to the bone now with that headwind. It just kind of started dribbling down my neck and then also my arms, so I'm pretty wet right now, but it is what it is. The rain is actually kind of calming down right now, and hopefully it's going to stay that way. So all right, I found home. So this isn't on the other lake that I was going to portage to, but after thinking about it, because I only have like 3 full days here before I have to travel back, and I'd rather spend my time doing stuff, and this is a very remote spot. I haven't seen a single person all day today, and I'm at the pretty much opposite side of the lake. And this is probably one of the largest lakes I've ever paddled. It is probably the largest lake I've ever paddled. And I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I've got this little this little hill that I'll be able to camp on. It overlooks the lake. I've got a ton of little islands and things behind me that I can paddle to and fish on. I think there's a hidden lake that's a couple miles that way that I'll be able to hike to in the morning. And I found a sweet setup up there that's got some sunshine, and I'll be able to create a pretty cool little shelter. And there's a bunch of dead trees around there, so I'll be able to get firewood pretty easily. And there's a huge spruce or something that's down and dead that I'll be able to use for firewood. And then lastly, I got this little beach that I'll be able to set up my fire at, because I don't want to do it in the woods. I don't want to mess with that. That's too risky, because I'm not going to clear all the live brush, obviously. I was really questioning whether or not I should make it all the way over there, because I'm going to lose sunlight, and I'm not going to, then I'm going to have to wake up tomorrow and then find camp and then start setting things up. I would just lose too much time. I think this will be perfect. So let's go ahead and get this canoe tied up, because I've had a canoe fly away before, believe it or not. Luckily it was tied up, so it wasn't able to go very far, but I'm ready to get these rods lined so I can start fishing tomorrow. Alrighty, welcome home. My number one objective right now is to simply get a tarp up. I just want to get a place where I can have dry and know that it's not going to get wet. So I'm just going to set up a tarp. I can have a little home space that is a little bit more cozy, so not every second I'm not getting dripped on. Got my tarp set up, and as I was doing that, I was hammering in the stakes. I wasn't paying attention, and I already broke my tripod. I broke a leg right there of the tripod, so I got my tarp set up. Just kind of comfort level. I'm gonna pull my stuff in here, just let it kind of dry a little bit, and I'll probably set my shelter. I'll just sleep in a bivvy tonight. Probably just lay it down here flat. All right, I got my bivvy set up, my tarp. All my gear is just aligned right here. I like to use trees as landmarks so I don't lose anything, so I just got it kind of placed on the sides. Now, ideally, if I was out here long term, I wouldn't want to have these totally just exposed to the elements, which, by the way, it is, the rain's holding off for me right now, and it's actually a really beautiful evening. But for this, I'm just going to keep them there, and I'm not going to film much more tonight. So luckily, I've got this big down tree right next to me, so this will be able to give me a lot of firewood. I'll get some of the logs and the branches off at the other end because it's a little bit smaller than this. Alrighty guys, I don't know if you can see me, it's pretty dark, but the camera gets good light, so I'm heading to bed. There's not much else to do tonight. I got quite a bit done, honestly, and I'm very, very excited about where I'm at. I was really second guessing myself the entire day about what I wanted to do, whether or not I wanted to try to push and make it all the way over there. But I think I'll be able to do more things here than I would have been able to do if I would have gone over there. So I think I've got a really good setup, but I'm just gonna get some water in me. I had some pistachios for dinner. Tomorrow I'm gonna catch some fish and have a real dinner. But there's actually some fish jumping out right where I'm looking out at right now. So hopefully there's some fish around here. It does look kind of deep, but I also have a canoe if I need to go paddle and catch some fish somewhere else. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna get some water in me and I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, guys. It got pretty chilly last night, but I threw on all my layers and I was toasty warm once I had all my layers on. But I'm waking up. It's about 8 o'clock right now, so I am waking up a little late, but so be it. But it's a really beautiful day out. It is cloudy, but it's not. You can see the sunshine. You can see the blue skies in some areas, so I'm very hopeful that it's going to stay that way. I'm checking the weather on my Garmin InReach right now, and I'm going to see if it's supposed to rain, but I think I'm going to get my shelter built today. I think I'm going to fish and get a fire set up ready so I can cook the fish, because I don't have a stove or anything, and focus on those two things and see what else I can get done. But I think that's going to take, a decent amount of time, so we'll see. But let's just go ahead and play it by ear. I'm going to create a little A-frame shelter. It's not going to be anything spectacular, because I'm obviously not going to cut any live branches and trees, which would make it a lot easier. But I'm going to go ahead and utilize this little Y in the birch tree right here. And I found this along the shore. This is going to be the backbone of my shelter, which I'll probably trim down a little bit. But now that I have my frame, all I'm going to do is start finding sticks and just start piling it up along the edges. And hopefully this will be a decent enough shelter to stay in, but it's not really ideal using all this down wood because a lot of this is just rotted. In case you don't know, birch trees that are rotting actually rot from the inside out. So as you can see, I'm pushing on this and there's hardly any resistance. There's not really anything in there. And you can actually take a knife and cut through it carefully. And then you could take that and peel it off in sheets. So we'll go ahead and do that. This one's a little far gone for my liking, but as you can see, it's just coming off in one big sheet. So this, I might waterproof my shelter with this. I probably won't, because I just want to do other things. I'm getting a little lazy with the shelter. But anyways, that's just a quick little example of what you can do with a birch tree that's rotted. So you could use this almost like shingles. Now I have a large sheet of birch bark that is waterproof, and I can use that as a shingles for a shelter or containers or whatever else it might be. Well, I chose a different shelter setup. The spot I was at was just a little too windy for me, and there was like zero shelter building resources because all the down trees were about 50 yards over here. And so I decided to switch up the game plan, and I found this down tree right here that I just lined logs up to make a little lean-to. Now it's far from being done, and I'm probably about to stop for the day in about 15 minutes just because I want to get out and fish while it's a nice day, and I got to get some food in me because I haven't eaten anything all day. So full transparency, I have food to last me the entire week, but I am trying my hardest not to eat anything, as weird as that sounds, unless I catch it off the land or forage it off the land. So that's my goal, and right now I'm getting really hungry. I only ate pistachios and a banana last night for dinner, and this morning I haven't eaten anything, so I'm definitely starting to feel it a little bit. But I'm going to start fishing in a few. But this is just kind of a temporary shelter. It's not really super impressive. I didn't spend a ton of time. Also, the one thing that's hard about the North Woods is all of the downed trees around me are so rotted away. They just rot so quickly for whatever reason, and I'm obviously not cutting live trees. It would be a lot easier if I was, but I'm not. And so it kind of has taken me a decent amount of time just to find all these sticks and everything that are going to hold up. And now I'm just going to go ahead and stuff some moss in all these cracks to fill out some of the vacant spots. Nature's insulation. Do that for about another 12 minutes and then we'll get fishing. As I was digging up some of this moss, I came across my first little piece of food off the landscape. So this is just a little earthworm. I could use it for bait, but it's a little small and I got other things to use. So let's go ahead and eat it for dinner or breakfast, I guess. Tastes just like earth. Very gritty. A little sour. I wonder how many calories are in a worm. Wow. I've heard you want to chew it up really well because otherwise they can crawl throughout your intestines. I don't know if that's true or if that's a myth, but I'm gonna chew it up well. As you can see, I got most of the cracks filled up with that moss. There's still a lot that needs to be done, but I'm probably not gonna work on it today. So it's gonna be, I would say it'd be fairly water resistant. Definitely not waterproof, and there's still big cracks like down there, but it's not too bad. Now the only thing that you gotta be careful about is obviously this tree splitting off. So I think I'm gonna position my head way back in that corner. So I've only eaten a worm this morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and eat this too. I brought this because I'm canoeing, so why not? I'm gonna go ahead and get my fire lay ready, just so when I do catch a fish, hoping that I do, I'll be able to come back here really quickly and just get a fire going so I can cook it and eat it. Because again, all I've had today is a watermelon and a worm. It's not quite sustaining me, so I'm not really hungry yet though. It'll take me a couple days before I'll get hungry, but I could use some food just for energy purposes. Woodsman wedgie, this thing's freaking awesome and safe. I'm just using these as my baseboard so it doesn't touch the wet sand. All right, that'll do. Now I'll put some larger logs just to hold this down a little bit, but that's gonna ignite very easily. I put a bunch of birch bark underneath it. And if you don't know what birch bark is, it is the nature's fire starter. It makes it really, really easy to start fires. So it's a really good resource for up north. Well, guys, we got some unfortunate news. I've got to go take a crap and I forgot toilet paper. So the moss that I use for the shelter, it's gonna be the same moss. It's gonna wipe my ass. But I will say, I did think about grabbing toilet paper and I was planning on it and I just kind of forgot, but I also wasn't too worried about it because I knew that there's some plants out here that you can use. Here's one of my new tools that I just got for this trip. I'm really excited about it. But if you don't bury your waste, then you ought to start doing it because it's just the right thing to do. And for canoeing, it's, you know, it definitely weighs a little bit, but it's way worth it in my opinion. I've never traveled with one of these, but I'm already really enjoying it. So it's just a cold steel shovel. You would never know. And this is why I love birch bark. I was using my ferro rod and I got this on the second strike. It's just so easy to start a fire with. This was really, really wet and it still started just as easy. And as you can tell looking around, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but there's some birch bark over there that's washed up. There was birch bark over there that was washed up. There's a bunch of birch bark over there that was washed up. There was some right behind me that's washed up. There's obviously this birch bark I gathered right there, but it burns for a really long time. That was just a little piece of rotting birch bark, and it's probably been burning for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes almost. So kind of makes your fires easy up here, which is a blessing because it gets so darn cold. Now for the fun. Now it's time for fishing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my rods lined up using the tackle that I got in my little survival fishing kit that I made a video about. So basically all it's gonna be is I'm gonna use my braided line with a steel leader attached to it. And then I'll probably just start out with some spinners or some of the MEPs that I have, or maybe I'll switch it up and use some lures out here. It's a pretty deep drop off right out there, it looks like. So, and then with this one, this is just monofilament line. I would prefer to have braided line just because I'm more into the braided line. But I'm gonna set this up with probably a jig, and then maybe go find some worms or something and just, you know, jig it up and down and see if I can catch some walleye or something. So let's go ahead and get that strung up, and hopefully we'll catch some fish. And I got the fire set up, so if I do catch a fish, I can kind of come back, cook it real quick, and eat it for lunch and get some actual food in my belly. I just use the polymer knot, which has always worked for me, so I don't see a reason to switch. But what knots do you guys use, just out of curiosity? Braided line is obviously a lot stronger. I think monofilament definitely disappears in the water more, but I'm willing to take that as a trade-off because I've caught a whole lot of fish with the braided line. Now it's just time to throw on some lures and we'll be ready to go. Little old school number 4 MEPs. See if I can catch myself something with that. Looks pretty appetizing to me. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm probably not going to paddle to fish because you see all those white caps? Well, that is coming my direction, and I don't have any weight in my canoe if I go fishing. I don't really want to put everything back in there, so I'm just not going to paddle. I'll probably just walk shore a little bit, at least for today, and see if I can catch anything along shoreline. But all right. Well, I've been walking this shoreline hoping to catch something, give me a lot of confidence, but unfortunately, cast after cast, I haven't caught anything. It's really windy, but I don't think tomorrow's gonna be any better, so I'm thinking I might take the canoe out and just give it a chance. I know there's fish out here. There's a weed bed right here, and there's fish that are jumping, so I'm really lucky that it's not raining though. Sometimes it's easy to get discouraged when you're out here alone because you have all these ideas and visions and things you want to do. And for me, one of them was fish a lot. But with just how windy it is, I just feel like it's going to be more of a challenge than I was necessarily expecting. Okay, so it's kind of better to just do what you feels right in the moment, you know? I'm trying to get better at that. Last cast, and then I'm going to pack up the canoe and go see if I can find another spot. All right, let's go. Before I pack up the canoe, I'm gonna enjoy some coffee. Treat myself to a little something that makes the day just that much better. But I'm gonna do it really, really, truly the cowboy style, which is no hot water, because I don't want to start a fire and then leave. So I'm just gonna pour some cold water in there, let it soak, and then just eat the grinds. I used to do that a lot, where I would just carry beans with me and just eat them like snacks. You get some calories with it. I don't really know if it's good for you. Tell me that doesn't look appetizing. Maybe a little, probably not. Not horrible. I'll take it. Anyways, the wind is actually dying down right now. Perfect timing. I'm gonna get my canoe ready. Let's go fish and let's go catch some darn fish. Go fishing. Hopefully this sunshine stays because I'm loving it. I was not expecting any sunshine this entire trip, but if it stays like this, gosh dang, I will not complain. Just as I was feeling really discouraged about making the decision to go out in canoe, because I kept on getting blown to shore, so I ended up pulling my canoe over, and I was casting a couple times. I was about to change my plan and go to a small pond that's inland a little bit, because the wind would be pretty much non-existent, but right before I did that, literally my last cast, I probably spent 20 minutes here casting, and my last cast, I caught this beautiful smallmouth bass. I've already dispatched it. It's one thing for me that is really, really tough and difficult. I hate killing animals. I do not think it's fun to kill anything. I simply am doing it because I'm gonna eat it and enjoy it and appreciate it. But it's really, really hard for me to do, even if it's a fish. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't like killing anything, even if it's a bug. But I am going to go take this back in my canoe. I'm gonna cook it up for the fire that I got ready. And I'm gonna enjoy this first meal of the trip. I don't take this fish for granted. I also just scavenged this little board. That's gonna be a perfect fillet board. So scavenge that from over there. So I'm gonna canoe back over to my site, which is right on that corner. Hopefully you guys can hear okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and fillet this fish. I'm using a fishing knife that actually came from my great-grandfather. Let's go ahead and get this fish filleted. I am the absolute worst fish filleter the world has ever seen, and I just did such a crappy job, so I'm just gonna go ahead and boil the entire fish and I'll just eat it like a sandwich. I don't know if that's how you eat sandwiches. Cut off the head, so pretty much every other piece is gonna go in there. I am a horrible, horrible fish filleter. I've done it many, many times, but it's usually other people are with me that can kind of show me how to do it. And when I'm on my own, I did this last trip too. I kind of just butcher it, so I end up just cooking it whole usually. I'm gonna enjoy it still, I promise. The one thing about me that you guys should know is I am I'm not a picky eater at all. And when I say I'm not picky, I'll eat pretty much anything. Doesn't matter if it's the fish eyeballs or what, it doesn't really bother me. So I'll just go ahead and enjoy it still. One thing I know I can do better than filleting fish is starting a fire up here in the North Woods. I'm gonna use a ferro rod just because it's more fun, and I do have a lighter obviously, but I just want to show you guys how easy it is in the North Woods to start a fire. So I just gathered this birch bark, which was around the beach. This is everywhere up here, anywhere in the North Boreal forest, it's everywhere. And anyways, it'll take a spark really easily. So what I'm gonna do is start breaking it up. I'm gonna use this as my little catch so it doesn't all go in the sand. But I'm just gonna start breaking it up into pieces. I wanna expose as much surface area as possible. So, see all the little pieces that are getting caught? That's what I want. Thinner strips are a little bit easier. I'm using really thick strips of birch bark, but it'll still work. Once I get it processed down enough, it's just gonna be a little bit harder in the beginning. But it's just like anywhere, any environment, you wanna just process it down to fine pieces that has a lot of surface area. Makes your job a lot easier. This stuff will, it really will ignite pretty easily. All right, so you see all these pieces? That's what you want. All right, now, you can do this multiple ways. I'm just gonna go ahead and park my ferro rod in there. There we go. So a couple different strikes, but not a big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and just move that into my fire that I got going right there. That's gonna catch all that on fire. Let's go ahead and get this fish boiling. I will say it's about 50 something degrees out, but standing next to this fire, I'm getting really, really hot. I wonder why. All right, I'm just gonna put this right here. Now boiling it, I mean, it's a little bit of a disappointment to me because I feel like I should know how to fillet a fish by now. Boiling it, it's gonna give me more nutrients and I'm gonna waste less of the fish probably. So I'm gonna use the head and the guts for bait possibly at this little pond I'm going to. There's no need for me to make this fire any bigger than it is. I'm gonna be leaving right after that I eat this, so just enough to boil the water and then we'll set up another fire lay and we'll get going. I'm gonna let it sit for a minute, let it boil and really make sure everything's cooked. And then I'll take it out and I'll have a little feast. The wind is really, really picking up again. It always makes me nervous having a fire when it's this windy, but that's why I chose this location, dug a little pit around it so the wind can kind of bounce off the sand. But all right, it's been boiling for a couple minutes now, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it off, let it cool down. I'll keep the juices, I'll probably drink some of that. I don't know if I'll be able to drink all of it, but drink some of it and then I'll get moving on for the next part of the day. Might as well dry my boots out while I got some fire. Throw my legs in there too. Dry my feet, but I don't know if I'm gonna make it very far with dry feet though, because I keep getting in the water, so we'll see. Still waiting on that to cool down. It's probably good to eat by now. Let's go ahead and test it out. Yeah, still hot, but good enough to start picking in. So as you can see, the final product, I don't know if you can see, but it actually looks really good. The meat is falling off the bones, so it should be pretty easy to eat from like this. Might be my new favorite method of cooking fish. One thing about me is if I take an animal's life, I like to eat it without putting any flavoring on it. It's just a weird thing about me. I don't know why. I've kind of been like that since I was a kid, but so I'm just gonna eat it plain, straight from the bone. I'm gonna be honest, pretty good. And I feel a lot better because I'm not wasting any meat from the bones. You can see how clean I'm making it. Just like that, the first bone, clean. It's definitely underrated. Another bone, clean. The hard part is going to be eating where I left the skin on. I'm not sure, I might have to just eat that too. That's a stick. One thing that I keep finding that would be really good as bait or as food are these little slugs everywhere. Now this guy, I'm not going to keep them. I got the guts and everything from the fish to use for bait if I want to just use a hook and a reel. But, so I'm going to let this guy go. But in a survival situation, that's kind of the way I always look at things because I just enjoy it. This would be a good, good something. Good for bait, good for food. If you found a bunch of these, probably wouldn't taste very good. I've never eaten a slug. That's one thing I've never eaten. I wouldn't necessarily want to eat this. I'd rather eat worms. I'll say this turned out better than I expected. Everything falls off the bone. And the only thing I really got to spit out is just the scales. But we do have a little bit of a mess down here, but I'll drink some of this water and then it'll end up being better. But the skin, oh shit. as you can see right here, just falls off as well. So you can peel the skin off and discard that. So it's really not too bad at all. Just like that, skin's off. Now we got a little piece down there to eat and enjoy. Definitely not going to take any more fish today. It's more food than I actually thought, and I'm kind of feel like my body's in a fasting phase because I'm not really that hungry, which is surprising to me. But we'll see. I might just fish for fun because I enjoy doing that as well. All right, this is gonna be my first time trying fish soup, where you just kind of cut up the fish and the fins and all that stuff and throw it in a bowl. Now it looks like Campbell's soup. I don't know if it'll taste like it, but you can see it's like kind of bubbly because of all the fat. So there's a lot of nutrients in there, and honestly, if you're in a survival situation, I feel like it'd be better to boil your fish and keep all the nutrients you possibly can. It's been really easy just to pick the bones and spit them out. So let's go ahead and give it a try and see if it tastes like ramen noodles. That'd be really good if it did. The only problem with out here is like there's nothing that's salty, you know, and that's the thing that's kind of hard. So it'd be nice if this was salty. Wow. That's actually surprisingly better than I thought. You can taste it, that it's fatty. You can definitely tell. It actually tastes like miso soup. I have absolutely no idea what miso soup is made out of. I don't know if it includes fish or something, but it tastes just like miso soup. With a little bit of bass flavor at the end. So yeah, I boiled just the fins, pretty much everything but the head in here. Let me use the head for some bait at some ponds around. But I can tell that this is definitely healthy. I will admit that this is not the most visually appealing soup / meal that I've ever had, and I'm sure you guys probably agree. But I don't know how to fillet a fish, I guess, so you get what you get, and I'm not going to waste a fish. And like I said, I'm still going to enjoy it, and it's actually been a really good meal. So it's just not necessarily what I envisioned when I came out here. You know, you envision yourself creating multiple fillets out of the fish and slicing them thinly so I could dry them on a drying rack. There's a lot of things you might think you know how to do, and then you come out here and you're like, gosh dang, you just question yourself a whole lot. That's what I'm learning, is I'm questioning myself quite a bit, but I got to remind myself that I'm out here to learn. I'm out here to practice and experience nature and wilderness. You know, I don't have to come out here all the time acting like I'm the man in the wilderness, you know? It's not about that for me. For me, it's about a lifelong journey of just living with the wilderness. It personally is the thing in the world that makes me the happiest, being in the wild. Even though a lot of times it's hard, very, very challenging, and you second guess yourself pretty much every day, especially when you're out here alone. Besides family, I mean, this is everything to me, the wilderness. So I don't know what it is. I don't know why I've always been appealed by it, but I don't know why I've always been appealed. Is that even a word? I don't know why I've always been intrigued by it, but for whatever reason, ever since I was a little kid, I've wanted to go out and live in the wilderness and try to just see if I could survive. Thank you guys very much for watching this part of the video. This was a big part of this trip for me, just catching a fish. So I'm almost done with this. I'm going to go ahead and finish it up. There's a little bit of meat left and some soup left. I'm going to finish it, and then I'm going to head out and go hit up a pond. Banana, watermelon, and fish. It's not really a whole lot of food, but it's sustaining me for now. So anyways, I'm going to enjoy this. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching, as always. It was a little thin. I'm gonna go on a short day trip, so it's about a mile away to a little pond. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this fire all the way out. because that is the right thing to do. All right, I'm about to venture off about a mile into the woods where there's a little pond. I don't really know anything about it other than the fact that it's there on a map. I'm gonna take my bag with me, a fishing pole, and a camera, I guess, and just go see. Maybe I'll fish a little bit. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just kind of look around. I don't know. Just found some moose poop. I'm not out here alone, thank goodness. Well, it was back to being windy, rainy, and cold again. And that little hike to that lake was an absolute disaster. I was trying to walk this shoreline all the way up until I could cut into the woods, but I ended up finding out that the shoreline actually ends and it's just steep rock cliffs. And so I tried to crawl around it, but it was just not easy. It was not going too well for me, and I didn't want to be dumb, so I decided to turn back. And the weather's it was getting grayer and grayer and kind of turning south, so I figured if I do anything right, it should be probably turning around right now. So change of plans. I'm gonna just enjoy the evening. I'm going to start another fire, and then I'll get my line out and just kind of fish and hang out by the fire, dry out my shoes and everything. I'm not going to do a whole lot this evening. Tomorrow I'm going to film a bunch of videos, just like kind of one-off videos, and then I'll hopefully make it to the other pond. But if it's a beautiful day and calm, which it's really calm right now, believe it or not, then I will probably canoe and fish again. But I think that it's supposed to be really windy. But it's just been such a weird weather day today because it's been calm for 20 minutes, and then it'd get really windy for 20 minutes, and then it would start raining for 20 minutes, and then it would get sunny for 20 minutes, and now look, we're about to lose the sun again. So it's just been very on and off. So tomorrow, like I said, not really doing a whole lot tonight. Probably hopefully catch some fish if I fish off the shore right here. All right, I've decided I'm gonna make some pine needle tea, and then I'm gonna go hit the hay, journal, read. I brought about 8 books with me, 8 wilderness survival books. So I'm just gonna sit this right, let me see, might just sit this on this log. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and let this fire die out now. I'll probably relax and hang out for a little bit, but no pressure on keeping this fire alive for me. But that looks pretty good. I'm actually gonna let that boil for just a little bit longer to get more of the juices out. Well, now's the time to go fishing. Look at the entire lake. Pretty much still. Now it is 7 o'clock, so I don't really have too much daylight, but my gosh, the fish would probably be biting right now. So cheers to this evening. It is a pretty nice evening, but I'm ready to crawl in bed and call it a day. Wake up tomorrow and do the exact same thing over, catch some fish. All right, guys, good night. I'll see you guys in the morning. I'm gonna get my journaling done before dark, but anyways, see you guys tomorrow. Alrighty, guys, good morning. I'm trying to convince myself to get up, but it is really windy, rainy, and cloudy, so not really a great day to do anything. It kind of is bumming me out a little bit, but you can't control the weather, and it wouldn't be the wild if it wasn't wild. So I guess I gotta start by getting up. It's also really cold. I think it's supposed to get up to like 52 or so. So here's the weather today, and as you can see, it's going to rain all day until hopefully about 3 p.m. But 1 p.m. says heavy rain. 3 p.m. it says heavy rain, so I'm not sure what that means. 30-mile-an-hour winds, heavy rain, 30-mile-an-hour winds. 5 p.m. tonight, 7 p.m. tonight, 25-mile-an-hour winds. I am really starting to regret my decision of not bringing a stove. I realize now that it was probably a little bit of a screw up that I didn't bring that, because it's just too windy to have a fire out on the beach because the wind is just coming in so hard. I don't want to risk it. And then interiorly, I could have a fire, but there's just so many pine needles and balsam fir needles, and I know I could scrape it up, but even then, again, that's another thing I don't really want to risk. I'd feel more comfortable just using a stove. For times like today, I can't clear out trees and create a space that's just, protected from getting fire and embers catching on trees and everything. So brutal weather. My goodness. Windy, rainy, cold. Look how big those waves are. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not gonna paddle on that. Not with my short canoe. I have a longer canoe that would have been a lot better in that kind of wavy weather, but I don't have that on me. I got my little, I think it's a 15-footer. Came across this weird looking thing. I think it's a lobster mushroom. But I found this big patch of wintergreen berries. So you can actually harvest these in the winter, which is kind of cool. So if you know where they are, you can come back. But yeah, I might make some tea out of it today. It smells so good. It smells so fresh. I'm just gonna walk the shoreline and fish and, do that for a couple hours, see if I can catch anything. Probably won't eat anything, but we'll hopefully catch something just for fun. So we'll see. All right, so as I was walking the shoreline, I found this really cool edible plant. So this is wild rose hip, and it's got these little and you can eat them. You can eat them when they're ripe. And they kind of just taste like pulp. They don't really taste like anything. They have seeds that are really hard that you can spit out, but cool little edible plant. Haven't been looking a whole lot, but it's fun to find some. It is just pouring. It is just pouring, but caught this nice little northern pike on the same spoon. I'm gonna go ahead and release this guy. All right, I went ahead and released him. I didn't get a lot of footage. My tripod broke and I didn't want to carry it all the way over here, so it's kind of working, but anyways, I went ahead and released him and got him back in the water. So that's my first fish of the day. I'm excited about it. Second fish of the day. We're in a little bit of a honey hole right here, so second fish of the day, I'm going to let him go too, because I don't need to eat fish tonight, I don't think. So I'm going to go ahead and let this guy go. Beautiful fish. So let me talk real quick why I'm a big fan of spoons. So this is what I've been fishing with. Every single fish I've caught this trip has been with this. I am absolutely in love with the spoons, mainly because, one, they're heavy, so they're easy to cast, and the waves don't bounce them around too much. Two, they literally are indestructible, and they'll last forever. Pretty much until you snag one of these and lose it, they will last. So they're just really, in my opinion, a versatile bait. I've caught smallmouth bass on this, pike, and up here, that's kind of the majority of what you would catch anyways. So it's they're absolutely incredible. You can get all kinds of them, and they just last pretty much forever. So it's kind of hard to beat that, in my opinion. And as long as you're careful and don't snag them, you'll pass these down to the next generation. Another nice smallie. fish of the day. Go ahead and get them released. All on this. All on this. Ooh, come on, buddy. All on that spoon. Come on, buddy. Look at that. All right, let me go ahead and get him back in the water. Another little pike. Number 5 of the day. Another smallmouth. 6th fish, I believe. So I'm probably about done. I'm just finishing up fishing. I've walked the shore and back probably about for an hour and a half or so, but I'm heading back to my camp, which you can see in the background. I'm going to start a little fire, just a really small one, cook or boil some water and make a mountain house meal just to get some food in my belly. All right, the wind is absolutely whipping, as you guys can tell, I'm sure, but I'm going to boil that cup of water and give myself one of these little pad thai with chicken. Pretty hungry, so this will be a very good meal. My first like full true meal besides the fish on this trip, so I'm gonna enjoy it. That'll do. As I'm waiting for my freeze-dried meal to rehydrate, I want to show you guys one of my favorite plants ever. So this is a balsam fir tree, and if you take it and crush it up in your hands, it smells just like Christmas. Decided to add a little bit of balsam fir needles to the water to make some tea. I like this even better than the pine because balsam firs are my favorite tree up here. They're actually my favorite tree in the world, so I love them. And they smell really good and taste good. Now I'm really living the life. Pad thai and chicken and balsam fir tea. Can't go wrong with that, in my opinion. Go ahead and get rid of that. Cheers, guys. All right, guys, I don't think I'm going to videotape for the rest of the evening. I don't really have a whole lot planned. Probably do some more reading, maybe do some more fishing, but there's not really a reason for me to videotape anymore. Anyways, it's a good day today. Caught some fish. I'm just going to enjoy this weather right now because right now we got sunshine and it's been really, really nice to say the least. So I really, really like the sunshine out. I'm just going to walk inshore, checking out all the plants. Right here we've got a red pine. And I just want to show another little survival resource for, because that's something I care about, so might as well share with you guys. But I just ripped off a little piece of root. Oh, sorry about that. Ripped off a little piece of the root right there. And as you can see, that's fat wood in there. So that'll I could shave that down and start a fire with that, and that burns. Whether it's wet, dry, doesn't really matter. And the red pine is really, really well known for it. And then a tree like this where the roots are all exposed, that's where you'll find the most of it. So you could just cut into this root if you wanted to, and you could find a lot of that. I was walking around shore a little bit more, found a patch of blueberries, and here's like a little berry. I'm a little too late in the season, but there's not really any here, to be honest. But these are all blueberries right here. So I'm just sitting here reading a little bit before I go to bed. It's like 6 or 7 o'clock, I think. But yeah, I brought a lot of books with me. So I got 2 of the bushcraft books, this Canoe Country Flora, which has been awesome because I've been able to read a lot about the plants and trees and everything. Best of Woodsmoke, and I've got like I said, I think 4 more books in my canoe barrel. So I definitely went a little overboard with books, but I really enjoy looking over these, especially when I'm in an environment that can tell me about it. You know, for example, American mountain ash, paper birch, which is everywhere around me. So there's just a lot of stuff I can learn and read it and then go look at it, you know. So I'm gonna head to bed and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Today was a great day. I caught about 6 fish, I believe, and Didn't catch and keep any of them, but I did feed myself dinner, so I just felt bad keeping a fish when I had meals that I needed to eat, so I'm not going to do it, you know. But I'm going to get to bed tonight. I know it's a little early, but I'm tired. Anyways, thank you guys very much. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Good morning on the final day of the trip. I'm going to go ahead and pack up, get my stuff in my canoe, and head on out. It is another cloudy day with sprinkles. Cloudy day with sprinkles. It sounds like an ice cream cone, but yeah, it's been sprinkling a little bit, so everything's kind of still wet and everything, but honestly, the wind has died down right now, so it's the first day that I've had that hasn't been, you know, super strong gusts of wind, so it'll actually probably be a really nice canoe out, which I'm very thankful for. So, you know that feeling when it's really cold out and chilly and wet and you just don't want to get out of bed? Well, today is one of those days. Actually, pretty much every day I've been out here has been one of those days. So nothing's worse than when I was in the Arctic Ocean on a polar expedition, getting up those mornings. Those are harder. That's harder than anything because it's like -20, -30 degrees out, and you got to get up crack of dawn. So not gonna complain. Let's go ahead and get up though. Let's stop being a baby. Well, I must say this is the perfect day to paddle back because this is the first not windy day I've had. And it's really calm and peaceful out on the lake, actually. So I'll be able to troll and fish some of the spots on the way back. Hopefully that was on video. First fish in the canoe. Fish on. It's a little smallmouth, or decent sized smallmouth. Let me go ahead and bring this guy in. I don't have a tripod, so sorry about that. Look at that. Nice little smallie. This is officially the riskiest thing I've done all trip. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I want to enjoy the last couple hours out in the water without worrying about videotaping anything. And if I catch a monster fish or something, I'll update you guys. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching, and hopefully you guys appreciate this wilderness area up in the boreal forest in Canada or even northern Minnesota, because it's my favorite place on earth. And I hope I did a decent job showing you guys kind of what it's like and everything. But I do know that I have a lot of work to do with the camera and the editing and all that, so I'll get better as time goes on. But this is my first kind of shot of doing a videotaping a trip, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. So Tanner, thank you very much. Out.